Alrighty, what is up? So, I'm actually just driving around right now. I'm about to start school in about 7 minutes. So I gotta head back. I got a chai tea. And so basically, I thought I would just make this video for fun. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna post it or not, but I'm gonna keep it short. I went to the doctor's today and I had to get my ears checked because I wasn't able to hear in my right ear anymore. And then I found out that my right ear was completely, I don't want to go into detail because it's really disgusting, but my right ear was basically blocked up. And I went to the doctor and I had it all cleared out, and I can hear from this ear extremely well now. I can actually hear things that like sounds and sound effects that I feel like I haven't been able to hear in a really, really long time. I think my ears have probably been blocked for a while. I just didn't really know. And so I just finished my doctor's appointment about an hour ago, and I went to go get a Thai tea, and now I'm just driving around, getting ready for class. Taking my class online. I'm actually kind of excited because I think this class is going to be really, really challenging and rigorous, but that's kind of what I need because like I've been saying, I'm kind of hoping that this summer is a summer of growth for me. You know, a summer of productivity, not just with physical strength, but with you know, education and all that stuff too. So I thought I would just vlog the rest of my day just for fun. Talk about random stuff of some or little importance. But yeah, I don't really have a particular topic. I just thought I would make vlog for fun. You know, I've been talking about a lot of serious stuff on this channel for a while, you know, with toxic friends and that type of thing. And oh, I forgot to mention, there's actually a section in the Silent Sounds. Well, you know what? Most people don't. Most people who watch my channel probably don't even know what that is. So why do I even bother? But what was I saying? Oh, right. So most of my content has actually been pretty serious, you know, talking about the future and controversial topics and matters like that. And so I was actually thinking about doing something fun. I was thinking about talking about video games because I'm someone who likes to collect video games. I don't want to seem too nerdy, which, you know what, I don't really even care. It's me, you know. I like video games. I've grown up with video games. And a console that I've actually grown up to really, really love is the Nintendo Switch. I bought it about 4 years ago. And for the first couple years, I actually didn't play it that much because there really weren't that many games out for it. The only two games that were really released for it were Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild. For the longest time, it was only those two games. But then I think my third or fourth year having it is when the releasing of Nintendo Switch games really, really, really started to rack up. And what I began to notice is that, you know, the fact that you could pull the Nintendo Switch off the dock and play it as a portable system is already cool enough. But one thing I love about the Nintendo Switch is that not just is it a home console, but the games that are coming out for it, a lot of the games that I've noticed that are coming out for the Switch, is bringing back a lot of old genres, like classic genres from like the NES, SNES, and Nintendo 64 era. And I'm not just talking about, you know, those little apps or game collection things where they actually have all of these SNES or NES games available to play. I'm talking about like some of the new games that are coming out for these consoles, for the Nintendo Switch. Like some of the brand new games, you know, have sort of the art and platformer style that some of the classic N64 games had. You know, and I'm not sure. I mean, unless you're someone who is like a really into platformers and RPGs back in the day, you're not really gonna know what I'm talking about. But a long time ago, you know, there were gold platformers and gold RPGs like Final Fantasy VII, Legend of Zelda, Mario 64. There were those games, and then pretty much every other game company tried to model their games after those. Like for example, one of the first and earliest and best platformers for the Nintendo 64 was Mario 64. And then later on, there were games that popped out that tried to kind of model that game, sort of like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64, who were also made by successful companies, and those games also became very, very successful. But then you had some other platformers that kind of came out in between all of that were kind of forgotten and left under the rug. Kind of like, you're probably not gonna know any of these titles, but games like Tonic Trouble and Buck Bumble and Rocket Robot on Wheels and games like that, which you guys have probably never heard of because, like I said, they were kind of hidden gems, you know. And it was the same thing with the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1 had like all of these platformers and things that kind of just came out of nowhere that were really fun to play, but they never really became famous or well known. But the games were kind of modeled after like a lot of the classics, like Final Fantasy VII or Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot. And so I've kind of noticed the same pattern with the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch has like the really, really good games like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, you know, and those type of games. But then it's also popping out like a lot of these random games, like a lot of these really random platformers that are probably not going to get much recognition, but are nonetheless very fun games, and they're not that expensive either. So I just kind of noticed, you know, the Nintendo Switch is kind of bringing back that really fun style that I like. And also, one of the things I've noticed about the Switch too, that I don't think was really common back in the day either, was collector's editions games. Now I know some games like Zelda and stuff like that always had collector's editions, but I don't remember many Nintendo 64 games or PS1 games having collector's editions that had items in it. You know, I think that was more of a kind of a PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era thing, where they would have like these big boxed collector's editions. And I noticed that the Nintendo Switch has kind of brought that back too. Like a lot of their games have like these big boxed collector's edition versions that have like all these fun items and stuff like that. And so, you know, I've really kind of learned to enjoy, you know, my Nintendo Switch, and I really think I am going to make a video of me talking about my collection and how much I like it, because I'm like the type of guy who's always been into like retro video games. I've always liked the old school ones. Like one of my favorite consoles was the original Nintendo 64 and the original PlayStation. And even to this day, I still collect those games. And if you've been paying attention, those video games have skyrocketed in value. Like, for example, I got this game for the PlayStation 1. I think it was called Guardian's Quest or something like that. And it was this really cheap RPG that was like, I got for $5. And now it's like $90, this game. It's not even well known. You know, it's like $90 now. Another game that skyrocketed in value was this platformer that I had for the Nintendo 64 called Rocket Robot on Wheels. It's the red cartridge, and it's by Sucker Punch, which is the company that created Sly Cooper. And that cartridge is like $90 now. It's insane. Like, old video games have really skyrocketed in value. I mean, I honestly always thought that they were kind of valuable to begin with. I mean, if you look at trade-in video games, unless the game's brand new, you're most likely not going to get more than $30 in store credit. But like old video games, you could, even back in the day, you could sell them online for like 20 to 25 bucks. That was a lot of money to make off of a video game. But nowadays, collector's edition items are like, they go for insane amounts of money. So, you know, if you're looking to make a big buck, you could sell some of your old video games and probably make a lot of money. But anyways, I'm home now, and so I gotta get to class. So, thought I would just make this for fun. I'm not sure I'm really gonna post it or not, but who knows.